is Danielle Zajdel, and my project is on the Einstein Tower by architect Erich Mendelsohn, structurally completed in 1921. The Einstein Tower is a scientific solar observatory that began as a need, then idea, by Erwin Finlay Freundlich. He presented his vision to designer Erich Mendelsohn. The building was also supported by Albert Einstein, although he never expressed a fondness for the building's aesthetic. Freundlich was a German astronomer that spent years failing to prove Einstein's theory of relativity. He needed and envisioned a place that would allow him the tools and conditions necessary to prove Einstein's theory. He enlisted his friend and architect Erich Mendelsohn to design and build the tower in Potsdam, Germany. The structural aspect of the Einstein Tower was completed in 1921. The installation of the telescope and spectrograph began in 1924. The building would see many renovations and restorations over the years. Its earliest edition of sheet metal in 1927 was just the beginning of its long battle against the elements and corrosion. The vertical structure of the building encases a telescope. The horizontal below-ground cellar houses the spectrograph. Other areas of the tower consist of various offices, meeting rooms, and other working areas. Freundlich did not prove Einstein's theory of relativity from the tower. However, the instruments are still in use today for data collection and as a training space for graduates and PhD students at the University of Potsdam and the Institute. The structure is also open to the public during open houses and other special events. The original plans for the tower called for steel and reinforced concrete construction. However, due to a lack of materials after World War I, the resulting construction is a mix of bricks, concrete, and thick layers of rendering with iron reinforcement. This has proven very problematic for the tower that even the later added sheet metal would not solve. The cracking and mold are still an ongoing problem for the tower. The original construction does not conform to today's standards. The interior of the dome of the telescope is wooden paneling used to prevent dew, while the outer shell of the dome is a layer of sheet metal aimed to protect it from the elements. The double wooden tower of the telescope is situated on its own foundation. Ball and socket joints are used to reduce vibrations to the telescope from wind, people walking within the tower, and traffic outside for precise measurements. The cellar that houses the spectrograph is covered inside to minimize temperature changes from outside. The telescope within the Einstein Tower was the first solar telescope in Europe and has been noted as the most important solar observatory in the world. In 1950, Harold von Kluber measured the magnetic field of the sun from the Einstein Tower. Science as a substitute for political power became a slogan throughout Germany after World War I. In the 1920s, before the realizations of World War II took over, science in Germany thrived. During its construction in 1921, the tower symbolized the spirit of scientific progress, but it embodied the reality of a post-war era, having to make do with a lack of materials. In 1933, when the National Socialist Party took over, Einstein's name was removed from the tower, and it was renamed the Institute of Solar Physics. After Germany's reunification, the tower was reclaimed by the Astrophysical Institute of Potsdam and renamed Leibniz Institute for Astrophysics Potsdam in 2011. The tower's history has been entangled with, but not defined by, German history over the last century. During its construction, the tower was scientifically motivated by the Mount Wilson Observatory in California. In Germany, after World War I and before the National Socialist Party really took over, the Einstein Tower portrayed the idea of form and function, both constructivist and expressionist, just like many other buildings constructed during this time. This type of architecture is still used. More specifically, many improved versions of green top roofs are used in today's culture. More importantly, using a chamber with a stable temperature and humidity for spectrographs, along with stabilizing measures for telescopes, has been employed and improved upon since their predecessor at the Einstein Tower. The Einstein Tower is a sculptural dressing on a machine. It was built with innovation to create the necessary atmosphere to foster scientific progress. It expresses the potential for humans to transcend limitations, embrace modern physics, and hope for future scientific advancement. In my model, the tower and upper portion of the structure are made of a combination of foam core, cardboard, and museum board covered by a layer of plaster. This is similar to the combination of materials used in the original construction. The dome is made of plastic, aluminum, and cardboard. The base is made of foam core covered by felt. The felt covers the base like the sod on location. The sod helps to regulate the temperature of the spectrograph in the real tower, while the felt of the model provides a visual contrast between the upper and lower portions of the structure.